Hey guys, this is Mr. Mendoza here. Hope you're doing well. We're going to continue our lessons. We did chapter 10 and now we're going to do chapter 11. Hopefully, you guys have completed chapter ten's quiz. If you have not, go ahead and do that for me and we will get that graded to you as soon as possible. All right, let's move into chapter 11. Remember last time in chapter 10, we had left off with pretty much the dog being lost or missing. And so now we're going to see what happens next. Okay, chapter 11. First, Dion told Luja the news about Gobi. Then he called Kiki. He felt bad for hitting her with such bad news after she had been so willing to help and so nice about all the delays. But he knew it was important to let her know what was happening. Kiki wasn't upset at him, though. Instead, she offered to call Nurali herself. So here it is. Dion is telling everybody the news about the dog missing. And so Kiki says, you know what? I'm going to call Nurali. Nurali was the person that was supposed to be watching Gobi. That would be great, Dion admitted. Kiki had already spoken with Nurali once or twice. Since they both spoke Chinese, Dion hoped she might get more information than if Dion tried. Kiki called back an hour or so later. She had spoken to Nurali and sounded more concerned than ever. There's something funny about this whole story, Kiki said. It just doesn't add up. So remember, Kiki's now saying, hey, I'm going to talk to Nurali. But then when Kiki talks to Nurali, she's like, okay, something ain't adding up with this. And so she's telling Dion this. Dion agreed. He was upset that Gobi had been able to escape from Nurali's home, and it made him paranoid that Gobi might have gone missing much earlier. Dion had so much time to think about Gobi that he had run through every possibility in his head. He was glad to know that Kiki had thought something was strange too. Still, that wasn't the important part. What's next? He asked instead. It didn't matter how or why Gobi had run away or as long as she was found again, before she could get hurt or worse. What we need, Kiki told him, is to get more people involved in the search. How can we do that? Dion wanted to know. Nurali's the only person I know in Urumqi. But Kiki had an answer for that. I know someone here in Beijing who has experience finding dogs. He runs an adoption shelter. Maybe he can help. Dion sighed. Sure, give it a shot. What have we got to lose? Gobi was already missing. After all, how much worse could it get? Kiki called back soon, saying, I spoke to my friend. He says he's happy to help and he had some advice on what we should do next. Dion sat up. Practical advice? Excellent. Hit me, he said. First, we need a poster. It has to be something recent of Gobi, a good description and the location of where she went missing. It also needs some contact information and a reward. Ah, Dion sat up straighter. This was more like it. At least making a poster was something he could do. Then his mind caught the last word Kiki had uttered. Reward? How much? He says 5,000 RMB to start with. Now, RMB is basically like Chinese money. But 5,000 RMB? How much really was that? Dion pulled up a currency converter. 5,000 RMB turned out to be $700. He laughed. He'd worried about the reward being some big sum, but $700, he could live with it. Anything else? And there was. We've got to get the poster everywhere, especially digitally, she said. Do you have WeChat? Dion didn't, but he had heard of it. WeChat was like a cross between Facebook and Twitter. But the really big thing about it was that the Chinese government hadn't blocked it. Someone needs to set up a WeChat group to start sharing the news, Kiki pointed out. And then we need people on the street handing out the posters. My friend says that most dogs are found within 2 to 3 miles of the place they went missing. That's where we need to concentrate all our efforts. 2 or 3 miles? Dion shook his head. He and Gobi had run more than 70 miles together in a matter of days. How did they know she had done the same here? She could have been anywhere, even outside Urumqi by now. Then again, that had been out in the open desert. Urumqi was nothing like that. Dion hadn't spent much time in the city, but it had certainly seemed really crowded to him. Maybe Kiki's friend was right. He was the expert after all. So here, Kiki's kind of hooking Dion up with a friend that could help him, and they're getting ready to put up posters with descriptions of the dog and kind of some rewards money wise to whoever finds the dog. And so Dion is like worried about if this is going to work, but he's all for it because he really wants to get his dog. Okay. Then Kiki continued, "We know someone in Urumqi, a lady named Luzin. My friend had helped her with the search when her own dog went missing. He's already spoken to her and she said she'd be happy to help. She's even willing to head up the search in Urumqi. She's never led a search party before, but she does know the city." Wow, Dion managed. "That's amazing, Kiki. Thank you so much." He meant it too. He had known what to do at all. She had given him a place to start and specific things to do, but more importantly, she had found people that was willing to help. The fact that these people halfway around the world whom Dion had never even met would help was amazing. Dion felt lucky. One thing that wasn't so great though was the post Dion had to put up the next day. He had put this off as long as he could. All those people who had pledged money had a right to know what was going on. If you remember, there were some people that had given money and they were waiting to see if the dog finally got to Dion. They were waiting to see if the dog finally got to Dion. And so now Dion has to be honest and let them know, hey, sorry, Gobi's missing. So here's what he says to them in the post, okay? "Yesterday, we received a phone call that Gobi has been missing in Urumqi, China, for a number of days, and she's not been found. We're devastated to hear this, that she's on the streets of the city, and our plans to get her to the UK are up in the air. It's been about 24 hours, and I know my pain and grief will be shared by all of you. Please understand, Gobi was well cared for and looked after in Urumqi, and this is just an accident. Today, the information below and reward has been released on Chinese WeChat. The Urumqi Animal Shelter has also kindly assisted providing a group of people to look for Gobi, and we're getting locals to look for Gobi across the streets and parks of the city. If anyone can help us with information to where Gobi is, please contact us as soon as possible. We hope and pray Gobi can be found safe soon, and we'll keep you updated with any progress. Just want to say we're so appreciative of all the funding and support provided to Gobi so far. I can confirm that there are still 33 days to go on the crowdfunding page, and if Gobi is not found during this time, then no money will be taken from the pledges." So this is what he tells them, okay? His phone starts to ring as soon as he puts it up, but Dion couldn't bring himself to look just yet. Writing that post to those people felt like learning about Gobi's disappearance all over again. He wanted to hope for the best, but he knew that the chances were slim. After all, Kiki had told him that Luzin's dog, the one Kiki's friend had helped her search for, was never found. So now Dion has told his group, he's told his people, hey, I know y'all gave money, and I was supposed to get the dog, but ta-da, he's lost. So now they're in problems. They're in a situation. It's like, okay, what are we going to do now? So again, this is kind of like, kind of continuing what chapter 10 was talking about. And they've put some things together, and now we're going to see if they find her. Okay? We're going to see if they find Gobi. And so it gets really interesting here now, guys. Like it's getting really interesting, and the clock is ticking. There's still a lot to be done to get the dog adopted, to get him across the sea to Edinburgh, all this stuff, So it's kind of one of those times where it's like, okay, what's gonna happen, right? So I'm gonna stop there, and I want you to reflect over what you have heard today, and I'm gonna do a little different activity with this one. I know with chapter 10 I gave y'all a quiz, but with chapter 11 I actually want you to write something. Just give me like a good paragraph as to what it is that you may have learned or or if you were in this position, what would you do? And I'll have this posted on Google Classroom for everybody to see and do. Okay? Thank y'all so much, and y'all have a great day. Bye bye.